Well, David, speaking of leverage when it comes to trade negotiations, you also shared with the team a couple interesting charts here. Number of container ships sailing from China to the U.S., the vessel count plummeting, and then outbound tender volume. I think that means trucks leaving the L.A. area, taking products out to the USA. Some serious decreases in both of these indicators. I mean, your message to the team was you may want to stock up on essentials if you haven't already.
Yeah, so what happened here is you see on both these charts, if you are watching on YouTube, you can see an increase, right? A short-term increase that was preparing for said tariffs. So people were purchasing more goods and services, ordering more supplies. Well, the last of those ships is already basically hit the port here in the U.S. So from China, Port of L.A., massive ports there to inbound a lot of goods, and so the disbursement is happening, and so now the trucks leaving L.A. are going down. The ships that are leaving China to put more goods in our ports are going down, and so yeah, you're going to see a lot less product hit shelves, and this is going to create some havoc. However, demand was dropping prior to this, so it's not just the tariffs. Consumer demand is reaching a peak anyway because the consumer is tapped out. This free money that came out from the last 5 to 6 years all ran out last year. We talked about it. And the consumer is having to borrow to keep up. And unfortunately, that's not good. The average American is living on credit cards, et cetera, and they're finally getting tapped out. And so this is twofold. The tariffs are going to have less goods come in, and the consumer is saying no thank you, and that's going to lead to some deflationary pressures, not inflationary pressures on some goods or services.
Well, and reduction in American demand, that has a ripple effect all the way across the Pacific to China, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing in these
Again, the
charts.
media is not giving quite the full story when it comes to how these tariffs are going to play out. We have the bargaining chip because we are the consumer of the world. 36.2% of all consumption of all goods on the globe come from America. Chip, we're just 4% of the population of the world. 4% of the population, yet we consume well over a third of all goods and services. So these countries that want to import goods need us way more than we need them. And China is in an extremely bad situation financially, and it's not getting any better.
Well, right before we sat down to record the show, you told me that Apple is moving all of its China operations to India. Is that
Yeah,
right?
They announced all the
That's
not 100% of their, but all their operations for the phones that are targeted to come to the U.S. For the products they want to manufacture afar and import to the U.S. They're going to try to move that to India because India is looking like, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, signing a trade deal with the U.S. So it'll be much lower on the expense or the cost of tariffs or pass-through expenses, whatever you want to call them, for those products to make their ways onto U.S. shores. And so they're just protecting their own. And again, is it fair? Is it not fair? People need to understand, China does not play fair. When Chinese companies can come over here, create an LLC, buy a factory, build it here, no U.S. government involvement, nobody here has to be a shareholder. You cannot do the same in China. They must be a 51% venture partner in your company in China. So, and again, we won't have time to get into this today, Chip, but maybe it's a whole nother show or segment. China was allowed to join the World Trade Organization a couple of decades ago, right? They didn't come in as a developed country. They came in under the guidance of what we call a developing country. So they get special rules. They are allowed to charge tariffs, unlimited tariffs, to help benefit a developing country. They are not a developing country. They are a fully developed economy. They have more, they have 1.4 billion people, and this is nonsense. So that's why the World Trade Organization, Trump is pushing back. Sorry, you guys, we have to be at least be on a fair trading stance, a fair playing field, and we're not. And again, the nonsense of the political and the media to not recognize all pieces of the argument is ridiculous, not telling the American consumer the truth.